Hello, hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to this spontaneous life. It was not planned, but I felt jumping live, sharing some quotes today. I'm gonna give it a few minutes for people to join. I know it's still very early in Europe, so I also welcome you to watch the replay, receiving these quotes. How to thrive in a world addicted to fear? Good question, right? Especially when there's so much fear, just actually everywhere. The interesting thing, though, for me, and I guess for everyone, is that it obviously all starts from within. And last year, someone told me, someone very close and dear to my heart, he shared with me, like, you're addicted to pain, you're addicted to your fears. And I was like, no. And simultaneously I was like, kind of makes sense. And then I kind of let it go because I was not ready to fully allow that message in the embodiment of what it meant for me. And recently this message surfaced again in my personal quantum fields, and it became more clear, and it actually clicked in a new way, in a new layer of I myself was addicted to fear. So let's dive in. How to thrive in a world addicted to fear. What do I actually mean with that? Being addicted to fear. Yeah. So let's just tune in with your heart before we even getting started, and come back into this space, come back into this portal that's you're creating now. And if you're tuning in into the replay, I welcome you to receive everything as much as people joining live, because you being portal back to the moment that I'm sharing these quotes. So just take a few deep breaths into your hearts, just breathing in into your heart space, coming back into the space, into the here, into the now. Another deep inhale and letting go, releasing anything in your field that's not serving you, anything that's not in your highest. One more breath into your beautiful heart, clearing the space, coming back into the here, into the present now. So being a little bit distracted, people that are arriving here, but let's continue. Because living in fear is actually a choice. And what I mean with we are living in a world that's addicted to fear is that there's a lot of fear created around us. The grids that most of humanity are anchored in are fear-based, are separation-based, duality, because it's really easy to control a whole group of people when they're feeling separated, when they're in disagreement with each other, when they're in fear, when they're feeling, I'm depending on external things. So this addiction is real because our bodies, you're human, have been living in those reality for such a long time that actually is the familiar place to play in. So in a way, you're more used to living in fear, separation and duality then living in unity consciousness, then living in love and wholeness and body liberation. In a way, it actually makes me sad, but I've been there too. I lived in fear for a really long time in my life, and I still can find myself back in fear timelines, simply because for each new level there's a new devil. So each time when we quantum leap and we're doing something new, we're launching something new, we're having a difficult conversation, we're putting ourselves out there in different ways, in new ways, there's fear. It's not going to stop. We just learn how to navigate these fears and uncomfortable feelings with more ease, with more grace, with more play. And that's the key. That's where we're making the difference for ourselves, for our own healing, for our own ascension. So, hello, I see my cousin is joining. It's really early on your side of the world. Hello. Let me look back because I'm getting distracted once again. So the grids where most of humanity is aligning itself with, the grids that are pre-programmed, are fear-based. So in a way, you could say that when that's familiar to the body, when that's all you have known for such a long time, that's what you keep going back to. So the moment you're experiencing more freedom, more abundance, more self-love, more soul expression, more body liberation, more joy, the ego and the human is like, oh, I don't like that. Ooh, in a way, that's feeling more fearful and scary than the place that you knew that was anchored in fear. So, do you see the loop? Because you're tapping into that new reality and those new realities, and then your ego and your human is going, no, 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 no. So you're looping back to that addiction of fear, to that addiction of pain. And here's the thing, fear, pain, always going to be there. But the suffering, that's a choice. Living in fear, that's a choice. Because the moment a human is becoming aware, the moment you can witness yourself playing out the movie and you see like, oh, what the F is happening here? That's not me. And back there again is the moment that you can make a change. It's a moment that you can make a different choice. Right? So what are you choosing in those moments? Because all the past decisions have led you up to this now moments. But they do not determine in any way how your future is going to look like. You can change that any given moment in time. It's really interesting. It was like quiet the whole morning, and now I'm jumping live and people are arriving, like they're making some noise on the opposite side of the street. So yeah, let's see how this is going to continue, but I'm going to continue this live. Just feeling distracted, so I need to come back into this space because the fear is a choice. So you also see me doing one other thing. I'm making a difference between the human version of myself that is experiencing the fear and me witnessing. Because I am not that fear, you are not that fear, you are not that pain. It might still be stored in your body and activated in your quantum field, but it's not who you are. So the moment you can differentiate yourself as seeing the avatar, like playing out, seeing your human playing out realities, that most of the time are not truly who you are, because the fear does not belong to the soul. The soul does not know any fear. And in recent days, I woke up and I got reminded of how I started, with someone telling me last year that I was addicted to fear, and I was addicted to the pain. And it clicked, just like that. It clicked in a new way. You know why? Because I could see that I kept recreating certain realities, bringing me back into that state of fear, bringing me back, looping me back into that experience of feeling the fear. Even though it was not necessary at all anymore, I could find myself being there again and again and again and again. So it became really clear to me that living a fear is a choice. And each time when I saw myself back there in that fear, and that often for me happens in the early morning when I just wake up, and then all these things are happening within my body, stress, thoughts, like fears, limiting beliefs. And the moment I notice that, it's like, okay, stop. I'm not gonna start my day like that. That's in the past. That's no longer who I am. And when we do direct all our energy to that, that's exactly what we're going to create. So instead, what I did and what I recommend you to do too is to redirect your energy. The moment you see it happening and unfolding, that fear being present in your field, to redirect it and be like, okay, I see your fear, I think you fear. Fear, yeah, that's no longer who I am, but I do acknowledge you. So how does my future self respond and navigate? How is she feeling? What is she doing? What can I do? Ask her for advice. I ask myself so many times for advice. What are the steps that I need to take to anchor there and no longer shift back into those realities? Because they can completely dissolve. But it's a matter of really cleaning up any pathways that right now still can lead you back to those fear timelines. And once it's completely dissolved, detached, let go, release, you can no longer go back. That doesn't mean it does no longer exist in the universe, in the multiverse, because it does. But you no longer are a frequency match to those realities, to that version of yourself. So those timelines collapse because it's no longer a match. You're playing elsewhere and you simply cannot go back. But as long as there is any attachments, anything, any code still in those pathways, you can go back. This is why the inner play is so important. This is why we sometimes need to feel the feels and be in that void, be in the limbo. Like the past 2 days specifically, with the full moon, with the lunar eclipse, I was in the void. I felt lost. I was like, I don't know what is happening, but I felt unclear, and simultaneously I received a lot of beautiful downloads. But the contrast in my field was really present. And that's actually not a bad thing. That's a beautiful thing. Because when we are in the void, when we are limbo, when we are in the space in between the spaces, this is one of the most beautiful places we can be at. Even though it feels uncomfortable, we have to learn to feel comfortable within the discomfort, because it is in those spaces that everything that's no longer in alignment with you the version of you that you now are going to leap into and anchor into and ground into, everything that's no longer in resonance with her is becoming visible. It's like boom, 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 boom. It's right there. You cannot avoid it. You cannot not see it any longer. It's right in your face. So celebrate that, because that's the moment you saying goodbye. That's the moment that you're releasing, that you're detaching, if you're choosing to do so. Because we all have a free will. Sovereign beings, we all have choice. So in those moments, we can choose in the space in between. By the way, that space, you created. I created myself. When I'm in those spaces, I created it. It's my soul actually guiding me into like, hey, look at this. Are you still tolerating that? Or are you gonna choose differently? So it's where we question, am I still going to tolerate that fear taking control of my life? Or am I choosing to navigate differently? Am I choosing unconditional love, radical self-love and self-care? Am I choosing to do the inner play and work with the body? Frequency first, right? So am I choosing to shift the energy first before I continue anything else that I'm doing or have to do that day? It's a choice. It's a choice. And we all do have that choice. And it can feel challenging. It can feel fucking challenging in a world where we are addicted to fear, to choose differently. It's like building a muscle. You hear me saying this more often. Building that muscle, strengthening your mind, your thoughts, positive thoughts, words. Words are so important too. But building that muscle each time, like, oh, and there again, okay, shift back. And it's a journey for a reason. But the fact that you can see it, that's already it. It's no longer a block. The fear is no longer holding you back in any way, actually. Because the moment you see it, it's no longer a block. The moment you see it, you're dissolving it, you're releasing it, you're clearing it. And the key lays in acknowledging, really acknowledging, feeling it, seeing it, that your body, our body, is living in the past most of the time. So what do I mean with this? Most of the time, your body is responding to past experiences, to emotions that have been stored in the body, trauma that has been stored in the body from this lifetime, from past lifetimes. And your body is navigating based on those codes. So it's up to you to change that, to alchemize, to transcend. And we can only do that when we have full awareness, when we hold ourselves accountable, responsible, when we keep ourselves in check. So are you doing that? Can you sit in the discomfort, feeling comfortable within the discomfort? Once you start to master that, because it's okay to feel fucking uncomfortable. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's part of the journey, it's part of the ascension. It's part of your healing. Again, I'm repeating myself, but it's about moving through that discomfort, becoming comfortable, knowing that you're not those feelings, knowing that you're not those stories, knowing that you're not those fears. And then what I often see in my own experience making me laugh. Oh. Take a sip of water or some tea or some cacao. What I'm often seeing is that we are living in the past, we're living in the future, but we're not present in the now. This is where the whole fear is actually being amplified. And recently I had a client session, and this beautiful soul, it was actually not the soul, it was the human, of course, but this beautiful human was already worrying about something that potentially can unfold in February next year. Please, may I remind you that it's only October. So in February next year, something was going to shift, and she knew about that. Something was going to shift in her income, and she was already so worried about that right now her reality was already that she would not manage, that everything would fail, that everything would like be one big mess and fear, anchored in fear. Whilst we are fucking October. Hello, what are we doing? Like I was like, it was blowing my mind. But we all do that. I do that too at times. I've done that a lot in the past. But we are here right now. And right now there was nothing wrong. Right now she still had all these things coming in and flowing in, abundance-wise, money-wise. So what happens is, if we go into worry about, okay, that potentially can unfold next year sometimes, the beginning of the year, guess what? Then we're going to create a scenario, where exactly that is going to unfold, where no new income streams or anything else will come in. And there's always new awaiting. That something is leaving the field, something is coming in. It's like giving, receiving. It's a constant flow of giving, receiving. But what I often see happening is that the mind, the human, the ego is taking over and already is going into that reality, the fear-based reality, and that's what's being created. So instead, what you're required to do is to align yourself with that version of you where that's not happening, where there is new streams of income coming in and new ways of abundance coming in and new ways of creation is coming in, because it's infinite and it's all there. But the mind is very powerful. The words we use are very powerful. Spelling, spellbounding. So when we focus our thoughts and using the words to keep yourself in fear, then that's going to be the repetition over and over and over again. Whilst when you align yourself with joy, with freedom, with liberation, then that's the realities that you're going to align yourself with. And here is another thing that's making it more challenging at times, because often the repetition is taking place of creating a scenario over and over again, because you're learning your body, you're teaching your body to trust the new, to trust the unfamiliar, to trust the mystery of life. So because maybe in the past it has not been proven to you yet that it will work out. So how can you trust that it will work out now? How can you? Again, that's building that muscle. And that one has been very challenging for me too, especially moving away from the trauma. How can I trust people? How do I know that that's not going to happen again? When I open myself up, when I'm vulnerable, all these things, it's like experiencing life, being open and going full into the unknown. And knowing that frequency comes first. So when you do align yourself with the frequency in trust, in soul alignments, in abundance, in freedom, in body liberation, then that's what's going to be reflected back to you. But if you're gonna create from the frequency of fear and scarcity, then that's what's going to be mirrored back to you. So the moment when you see, like, okay, I'm making this decision, but it's actually fear-based, it's scarcity-based, I'm actually asking you to not make that decision. To close your laptop, or to say, I will come back to it later. We need to postpone this conversation, or I need a couple more hours or days. And to remove yourself completely from that situation, and to go into nature, to take a shower, to move your body, to drink beautiful coded water imprinted with love, to drink some cacao, to follow whatever practice can bring you back into that natural state of being, into manifestation. For me, quantum flow has been one of these practices. For me, the other one is Healy, that's supporting the recalibration of the field. And then once you recalibrate it back into, ooh, I'm here, in the love, in the trust, in the surrender, in the creation, then go into that conversation, then make that decision, then create. It's a choice. It's all a choice. It's all a choice. So I just had an example of that client that was worrying about something that happened in the future potentially. There's another example that obviously also is a lot in the field, where I see people worrying about the past because it happened in the past. There's so much fear that it's going to be recreated now in the present. Again, it's building the muscles, like over and over and over again, because what happened in the past, again, does not determine under any circumstances how your future is going to look like. But it comes back to your sovereignty, to your free will, to your choice. As the sovereign creator of quantum reality, you're weaving, you're creating new worlds. So what worlds do you desire to create? What worlds do you desire your kids to experience, or the next generations? The only way to shift out of these fear-based realities is to create new ones, not to fight the old, but to create new ones. And we do that with our frequency. And it all starts within, of course. So there are no answers externally. There are beautiful teachings, mentors, coachings that can guide you, that can support you. I can guide you, I can support you. I do not hold your hands. But you will have to do the inner play. That's all you. You do not have to do this alone. That's the beauty. It's actually this whole ascension process. Following your soul mission. It's a co-creation. It's a co-weaving. It's not just me. When I succeed, it's not just about me succeeding. When you succeed, I succeed. When I succeed, you succeed. It's a ripple effect. We are walking each other home. We are truly walking each other home. But with your present reality. No escaping patterns and mechanisms, because it can feel very uncomfortable, right? In these lower three centers and the underworlds, where all these emotions and feelings are actually stored, especially the fear. And it can be easier said, feel the fear and do it anyway, when your body is in full contraction. Right? So I've got a few questions that you can ponder about on. And that's, if you are present, tolerating the fear to determine your future, or if you are responding from that witness consciousness. That's the first one. Are you observing your human? And the second one is, what are you doing when you're observing the fear? When you see your human anchored in that fear, what's happening then? Which is bringing me what we can do to actually shift the energy. And there are multiple ways one can do that. And for me personally, I love to work with the elements, especially water. It's beautiful to clear the fields, to release anything that's no longer serving you. So take a shower and take a conscious shower. Take an Epsom salt bath, or even better, dive into the ocean when you can and you're living close to the ocean. The other thing is breath work, to shift the energy specifically from the lower three centers. Again, that's where all the emotions are stored. To shift that energy up, because basically we want to clear any resistance in the body, any blockages in the body. We want to clear those so that the energy can flow again throughout your spine all the way here, so that you receive clarity again, so that you can see beyond, feel beyond, and tap into the truths, your divine truths. Remembering who you are, for you to unapologetically be yourself. So breath work is really bringing anything that's suppressed, specifically the fear, to the surface. And then it's important to allow whatever is coming up for you, to allow that, to create that space, to allow it to be, but to not lose yourself in any victimhood or any I'm feeling sorry for myself, anything of those vibes. Because remember, you're sovereign being creating quantum reality. And the time where we are playing in, we are shifting in an instant. So any thought, any feeling, any emotion, right now it's amplified. So what are you focusing on? Are you worrying about something that's going to happen next year? Are you worrying about something that happened in the past? Because trust me, that's going to happen again. It's going to repeat itself until you say stop, no more. And that can not only happen from the mind. Yes, the mind is a beautiful technology and computer that we are co-creating with and weaving with. And it's very powerful. But we require to do the energetic work, the quantum work, and the body work. Without the embodiment, without the integration, there's no healing. It's super simple to me. If you only kind of imprint yourself by those beliefs like, oh, I'm going to be fine and it's going to be beautiful and I'm going to manifest this amount of money by the end of the month and I'm going to have a thriving business by the end of the year and I'm going to call in so many clients by the end of the year, you name it. If you only like send out those thoughts but you do not feel it in the body and you're not raw and honest with yourself for anything that's coming to the surface, that's actually still part of your truth right now, because it's still stored in your body, you're not going to shift it. And this is what I'm seeing in the field. A lot of people are afraid to actually look themselves into their eyes, to be very honest and be very real. So this is your invitation to be real, to be honest, because it all starts within. All your answers are within yourself, not externally of yourself. It's all within. And it is within the inner grids. Hello Claudie, how are you doing? Has been a while. It is from the inner grids that we are starting to shift the external worlds. So also do not be surprised when your world starts crumbling, when you start that inner play. Because remember at the beginning of this transmission when I said like timelines will dissolve? The moment when you are becoming more precise in your manifestations is the moment that there's no going back anymore. So once you have said yes, it's going to happen, and that can happen in resistance, or that can happen with flow and trust and surrender. That choice again is all yours. It's all yours as a sovereign being, as the quantum creator. So when you trust and surrender into that, you will end up in that void. You will end up in that contrast of realities, because that's actually the universe clearing your pathway. That's the universe clearing the road for you to anchor in that new you, for you to like, I've arrived. So what will happen is that people leave your field, that you feel less alignment with, for example, your job, with friends, with family, with the place that you're living in, with your wardrobe, with you name it. You're literally aligning yourself with a different version of Earth. And when these quantum leaps are bigger, that can be a radical change. And then again, what happens often is that the human, the ego, is fearing the unknown. So when that pathway is being cleared right in front of you, the universe is actually supporting you, your council of light is supporting you. What happens, what I'm seeing in the field is there's this contraction again. And the human is going into a freeze. The body is going into a freeze. Or flight or run, and there's the delay. So how can you stay open in those moments? How can you keep your body open in the movement of the energy? And again, it's part of our ascension. I want to get this message clear for everyone to receive this and this, it's part of the ascension. There's nothing wrong with it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it, because again, for each new level there is a new devil. You only learn how to navigate this with more grace, with more ease, with more play, with much more love. So eventually you're not going like this, but it's just like, oh, I see this, oh no, then I'm spreading my wings again. That's the play, and that's only by doing it. That's by building and strengthening that muscle. It's practice, doing it over and over and over again, up until you no longer can go back to that timeline. Over and over and over again. So let me see if there's anything else that wants to be shared right now. So I'm being looped back to the embodiment practices and the importance of working and co-creating with the body. And this is also where there is an invitation coming in for you. Because again, without the body work, there is no healing. Without the integration, there is no healing. And in the past couple of years, what I've seen and what I've witnessed in the field, there has been a lot of emphasis on the mental work, on the mindsets, on well-being, on the energetic work, on the frequency work. But sometimes the body work has been a little bit like not fully integrated. And my wish for every one of you is that you can be all of you unapologetically in all spaces and all places, no matter where you are. If you're sitting in front of a screen in a live, or if you're meeting someone in person, if you are at work, or if you're at home with your family and your loved ones, that there are no masks, that you can just be fully you. And the most powerful way to do that is by alchemizing the energies and working with the most advanced technology that we all have and have access to, which is our body. So the invitation for you is to join the free quantum flow practice that I shared, and tomorrow or Thursday it's going to get live, so you will have access to a replay, to watch the replay. And in that replay I will be taking you through a beautiful practice, shifting the energy to flow into more joy, to flow into more freedom and body liberation. And in November I'm launching a new membership, which is the Flow into Joy membership, which is going to support you in the embodiment of those new versions of you. So each time that we meet, which is twice a month, the codes that shall be shared with you are channels based on the collective group that I'm working with. And with those codes there will be activation, and then we're going to work with the body. So there's going to be breath work, there's going to be movement, there's going to be jumping, there's going to be lots of different things for you to also get to learn your body and to really remember and embody that you are the creator of reality. And the fact that the body is living in the past most of the time does not have to determine your manifestations or your future in any way, as long as you can stay in the present now. And that's the key, staying in the present now. Because yes, we have the past, we have the future, we have alternate realities, we have past life, we have so much that one can align yourself with, right? There's so much, but at the end of the day it's all happening simultaneously. So what are your thoughts right now? What are your feelings right now? How does your body feel right now? How does your quantum field feel right now? What are you thinking right now? And each time when you're thinking about the past, you're actually in the past. So it's only you who can shift back in the present now. Each time when you're worrying about the future, you're actually in that reality in the future. So once you come back into the present now, you can remember again, you can see again, you can feel again that the future holds infinite possibilities, infinite realities. You can go wild. The sky is the limit, literally. We can manifest anything in life. But it all comes back to that inner grit. It all comes back to what is happening within yourself, within the body. And quantum flow for me has been one of the modalities that has really supported me, especially in the past couple of months, to drastically change my life. It's where I became aware that what was said to me last year, that I was addicted to fear, that I was addicted to my own pain and suffering. Quantum flow gave me the tools to see that, to really become aware of that and to change it, to drastically say no, I no longer tolerate that. And the moment that I saw it popping up back in my fields, I had all the tools to alchemize. And not only with the minds, but with the body, so that it can completely be dissolved and released from the fields. So I would love to introduce you to this method, and the activation Flow into Joy is free and it's available for everyone. I'm well aware that quantum flow is a new practice and most of you are not familiar with it yet. So I recommend you all to follow that practice at least once and just feel in with your body what it's doing for you. And if you have any interest, you can join the membership and explore it more. And start working with the most beautiful and powerful technology you have right here in your hands, which is you, which is all you. It's not more, it's not less. It's all coming back to you as much as it's all coming back to me in my personal ascension. And the fear and the addiction to fear, the world that we are living in, again, it's your choice as a sovereign being what grids, what worlds you are aligning yourself with. So yes, I want to repeat this. I'm being guided to repeat this once more. When you start to choose to align yourself with the grids of abundance and freedom and body liberation and joy, it does not mean that the grids of fear do no longer exist. They do exist, but there will be a certain moment in time where there is no longer a resonance for you to go back to those grids, to go back to those realities. And that is the moment that these timelines dissolve and these timelines collapse. And that's how we keep ascending, that's how we keep evolving. Again, I'm guided to repeat this as well, because your ascension is a continuous journey. So for each level there is a new devil. It's not that there is no fear anymore. It's not that there's not going to be any pain anymore. Again, the suffering is a choice. Suffering is a choice, and suffering is victimhood. But the beauty of it all, for you as a sovereign being, as the quantum creator of quantum reality, is that you can change it in any given moment in time. Is that you have the choice to choose differently, to align yourself with different worlds, to create the new, and to no longer tolerate your own fucking bullshit. And trust me, I need to calm out my human daily. And the more often we do this, the more playful it's becoming. That's why I no longer refer to it as inner work, because it's too sacred for me. Our main mission, our soul mission, is our own ascension, because the own personal growth and ascension, that's how we're uplifting humanity. That's how we're raising the frequency. That is how Gaia is ascending to, and how we are supporting her. So it's about holding yourself accountable, holding yourself responsible, knowing that you do have a choice, and choosing differently. And knowing that each time when you do this, each time when you're building and strengthening that muscle, it's going to be easier. What took you years or months in the past, that's becoming days, that's becoming hours, that's becoming a minute, and I'm snipping out of it. There are chapters, there are themes in my life where I could lose myself for weeks. Past versions of myself could lose herself for weeks. And now it's a matter of sometimes days, sometimes minutes, sometimes a couple of hours. And that's where it's becoming fun. Because of that, you're starting to play with more precision in the quantum. And for every one of you who is feeling in that void, who is feeling like, oh, there's so much contrast in my life at present, especially after the weekends and the energies from last weekends, I was guided to offer Unapologetic, which is my 3 parts master course on being unapologetically you and learning to navigate the quantum with great precision, the difference between, there we go again, the difference between co-creating with your higher selves and co-weaving with your highest self, the difference between leadership and stewardship, embodiment practices. I was guided to offer it for 40% discounts, so it's still for another 24 hours. And yeah, when you feel like, ooh, like the contrast is big and I actually don't know exactly how I can align myself in the best way with my highest self or higher self, then I would love to invite you to check that out. You can go into the link in the bio for actually vote for the quantum flow activation, which is going to be available tomorrow or Thursday, or this beautiful master course, which is already available now with a 40% discount. So let's just round it off and close it with 3 beautiful deep breaths. And I'm inviting you to make the ah sound. And what we are doing when we make the ah sound, so we're going to inhale, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the jaws, and keeping the hands on the hearts. And when you make the ah sound, it's actually expanding the heart, expanding your heart grid, expanding the love, and feeling that love within yourself and within your beautiful body, within your home temple. So I'm inviting you to keep your hands on your hearts and then to take 3 deep inhales together, and with each exhale making the ah sounds. It's gonna ground you back even more into the space, into receiving these codes, and then integrating that's what you are ready to receive today. So you may close your eyes or keep your eyes open, whatever feels most comfortable for you and what does make you feel most safe. And then I'm inviting you to sit in a comfortable position and breathing in into your nose. Relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your jaws, very important. And then making the ah sound as you exhaling. Beautiful. Let's do that one more time. Relaxing the body and then taking another deep inhale, making the ah sounds. Relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your jaws. One more time. Let's ground it in, call it back home, bring it back home. Inhaling, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your jaws. Feel that inner smile and that inner glow as you exhaling, making that ah sounds. Beautiful. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for receiving these codes and joining me in this spontaneous live. If you do have any questions, please drop them in the comments and let me know what was your biggest takeaway from this transmission. You can leave it right now. I would love to hear it. And otherwise, leave it in the comments if you're watching the replay. Again, you can check the free activation, quantum flow activation, in my link in bio as of tomorrow or Thursday, and the 3-part master course is already available for you when you go to that exact same link for 40% discount for the next 24 hours. Sending you lots of love, wishing you a beautiful, beautiful day, especially when you're just waking up on the other side of the world. And yeah, let's